Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Cover Zero podcast, the show where I cover the least in the best way possible. I'm your host, Jason Wells. Today is Wednesday, November 5th. Yes, a lot has happened. I am relatively clean-shaven anyways. I won't fill in what my Movember look is going to be just yet. You'll probably see next week once it starts to fill in. Regardless, a lot has happened in the last few hours anyways. The NFL trade deadline has just passed. Unfortunately for you, that's going to have to wait till Friday's episode, because if I try to do the trade deadline on top of all of the Week 9 games, it's going to be a really, really long episode. So that'll be saved for NFL Weekly Update. Obviously, I'll probably talk a little bit about stuff with teams and news in general, as I usually do. But no, this is mainly going to be the Week 9 recap. Lots of really good games, lots of close games. I mean, last week it just kind of seemed like it was cut and dry, super simple. Nope, this had a lot more implications, a lot of big games, a lot of big moments. Too many injuries, unfortunately, too. But yeah, this is going to be obviously the Week 9 recap, and then college football highlights. I find college football has been relatively, not boring. Boring is not the right word, but it's been quiet. There's no, there's no real stars across the board. And maybe that's just because I'm not as locked in on college. I'm locked in on the NFL draft, but in the NFL draft, we'll talk about it when we talk about it. But let's get into the college football highlights here. Texas takes down number 9 Vanderbilt 34-31. It's weird looking at that, saying number 20 Texas beating number 9 ranked Vanderbilt, but either way they do. Arch Manning, last few weeks, looking good. Stay another year at Texas, obviously, but he's looking like a much, much better quarterback like we all expected. Marshall kicker Lorcan Quinn nails a 55-yarder. Usually that's not a story, but apparently he just started playing football 2 months ago. Now he's nailing 55-yarders. Again, kicking doesn't seem so hard, does it? Coastal Carolina, one of the best college venues that you can go to, apparently. They wore glow-in-the-dark uniforms the night before Halloween, offered all of its fans free food and drinks, held a medieval times halftime show, won the game as a 7-point dog, improved to 4-1 in the Sun Belt. Coastal Carolina seems like a lot of fun. They got that blue-ass field, too. But, a medieval times halftime show, free food and drinks, Coastal Carolina doing it right. SMU takes down Miami 26-20 in overtime. Carson Beck blaming the play calling and not himself for that back-breaking INT. Carson Wentz was never a thing. I don't know why people tried to make Carson Wentz a thing, what they did. And finally, former Eagles teammates Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson face off against each other for the first time as head coaches. Jackson's Delaware State beats Vick's Norfolk State 27-20. That is your college football highlights. And I guess let's get right into the Week 9 recap here. Starting off with the game most recently. Cardinals 27, Cowboys 17. Where do I even start with this one? There were a lot of things that happened. I could talk about, Marvin Harrison kind of having a breakout game, Walter Nolan making his debut, and Walter Nolan looks like a dude. Really, I feel like I should be starting with Jacoby Brissett, the starting quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. Pretty self-explanatory. They benched Kyler, and it got reported later that even if Kyler was fully healthy, Jacoby still would have been the starter. So, shout out to Jacoby Brissett. Again, one of these guys who has started multiple times throughout his career in the league, and continues to kind of rise to these moments at points. He's a good football quarterback. Again, this is where these backups, these journeymen, this is where they make their millions of dollars, and Jacoby's doing it again. The run game between Amari DiMercato and Bam Knight, that seemed to be working again. It was the Cowboys' defense, but really, this was the Marvin Harrison Jr. breakout game. I'll put that in air quotes. I think he ended up with 7 catches, 96 yards, and a TD. 7 catches, a career high for Marvin Harrison Jr. That's a travesty. You drafted him 4th overall, and he hasn't had a game with 7 catches in it yet. Like 6 was his career high going into last night. Again, malpractice by the Cardinals and everything, but I think Marv is clearly a very talented, very good player. Get the ball in his hands, he can do a lot of fun things. He absolutely broke Deron Bland's ankles in the end zone. Put him on his ass with that route that he ran. Marv's good. Deron Bland, not so much. And the Cowboys paid him a lot of money. The Cowboys on the other side, I mean, offense wasn't great. They went for it on 4th downs a lot, then also didn't go for it on 4th downs when they should have. You can't kind of play that game. It's rather kick a bunch of field goals or constantly go for it on 4th downs, but they tried to, I don't know. It's Javonte Williams fumbles. Dak should have had an interception. Like, the offense was not great. Not great, obviously. It's this defense that's absolutely terrible. And yeah, some reinforcements coming with Logan Wilson and Quinnen Williams. We'll talk more about that on Friday. I don't think it matters as much. This Cowboys team is now 3-5. They're just not good. 3-5, 3-6, 3-5-1. That's what they actually are. Yeah, like the offense is obviously, when it's working, it's a very good offense, very talented offense. Lot of penalties though for the Cowboys. That is one thing. CD is still great, obviously, but I don't know. There's not a lot of bright spots on this Cowboys defense. Again, reinforcements supposedly coming. They really need a lot of help in that secondary. I will, though, give a shout out to Donovan Ezaraku, their second round pick. They didn't go trade back up. Either way, Donovan Ezaraku, playing very good football recently. It seems like he has become their number 1 pass rusher. Again, not a lot of good options on that pass rush in general, but the rookie is standing out slightly more over the last few weeks. He has kind of been ramping up his production, his pressure rate, all that stuff. So, yeah, hopefully they found a solid edge in Ezaraku, and maybe that helps. And because I'm talking about rookies, I will talk about Walter Nolan. Has been hurt for the first half of the season, and he makes his debut, and yeah, his presence was felt. I think he finished with like 4 tackles, a sack, a tackle for loss. Like, he was all over the place. And yeah, this Cardinals team desperately needed help on that interior. Like, Calais Campbell's still doing his thing. He's great. But adding Walter Nolan in at this point in the season where hopefully that defense is healthy, that defense looked really good. Again, this is a very good Cowboys offense. Cardinals might have turned a corner. Tough to say right now, but like things are looking up for the Cardinals. Cowboys, that's not really. Let's go all the way back to Thursday night. Unfortunately for me, Ravens 28, Dolphins 6. Bad game. And it wasn't even that bad of a game from the Dolphins. And yes, it was a bad game. It was 28-6. Like, clearly it was a bad game. But there were so many moments in this game where Miami just shot themselves in the foot. Like, they were driving down the field and, a penalty. Oh, they're driving down the field again. Like, there was constantly, it was Miami doing bad things more than the Ravens, like, really shutting us down anyways. Yeah, we were kind of bottling up Lamar for a little bit, and then obviously Lamar fucking Jackson, and he's incredible. Mark Andrews got going. Derrick Henry was running the ball really well. Again, we couldn't do anything. It was embarrassing. Tua was blaming the Ravens crowd noise at the end of this one. The game was in Miami, so he's blaming the away Ravens fans being too loud for him. Tua every week now is just, there's seemingly some quote where he just puts his foot in his mouth every single week. I don't know what it is with him, I mean, not having any media training, I don't know. He says something dumb every week. The Ravens are looking much better. The addition of Alohi Gilman has definitely helped that secondary out a little bit. He had a big forced fumble on Taj Washington. It was his first catch of his career and his first fumble of his career. Yeah, wasn't great, wasn't fun. I don't think, Derrick Henry is now 74 yards away from passing his high school rushing totals of 12,124 yards. That's just insane. Derrick Henry in his now... how long has Derrick Henry been playing for now? Derrick Henry's been playing for a while. This is Derrick Henry's 10th season, I think. So in Derrick Henry's 10th NFL season, he has still not passed his high school rushing totals. Again, that's how much of a freak Derrick Henry is, but and apparently there's some kid who's about to like break his high school totals too, which is super cool. But yeah, Derrick Henry continues to be a freak. Do I have anything else to really add? I don't think I do. The Dolphins are just so disappointing. They sold a bunch at the deadline too. Again, we'll talk about it on Friday's show. They fired Chris Greer after this game. I will mention that. That's another big thing. But we will continue. Broncos 18, Texans 15. This game stunk. The Texans kicked 5 field goals because they just couldn't do anything. CJ Stroud leaves the game with an injury. Davis Mills comes in and just is not good. Not good. Again, they had lots of opportunities. They were right there in the red zone. They just could not finish a drive at all. And this is a game that the Texans should have won. Like, if CJ Stroud plays this game, finishes this full game, I think that the Texans win this one rather easily. But no, here are the Broncos, who, their secondary is a little bit banged up, but the defense is still good. And Bo Nix plays like the worst quarterback for the first 3 quarters of this game. Abysmal yards, like almost 0 completion percentage. Terrible quarterbacking. And then, here comes the fourth quarter where, he has a big run. He has the passing TD and everything's fine with Bo Nix. I don't get Bo Nix. This has been a thing. I said on Twitter that he's just basically the fancy Tim Tebow. Like, where Tim Tebow, you could tell that this man should not be playing quarterback, but like somehow it worked and he had Jesus on his side, I guess. But Bo Nix at least looks the part of a quarterback. It's just terrible for 3 quarters, and all of a sudden, holy crap, Bo Nix, what a star. No, Bo Nix is not a star. Bo Nix is just a very average quarterback who is in a fantastic situation with the Broncos offense. I mean, you have Hall of Fame coach Sean Payton coaching him. You have that great offensive line. Running backs with Dobbins and Harvey are pretty good anyways. The weapons aren't great, but they're good enough. And Bo Nix just has to kind of sit there, take his time, and most of the time it looks like shit. But it counts when it matters, and now the Broncos are 7-2 somehow on the season. Again, doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Texans, defense is great. The offense sucks. It is what it is. I think we can keep going, though. 49ers at Giants. Niners 34, Giants 24. The Niners just continue to do their thing. I mean, this is really just Christian McCaffrey. 28 carries, 106 rushing yards, and a TD. Also added 5 catches for 67 yards and a TD. I think the stat I read on him was he's on pace for the 13th most touches all time in a season. The Niners did everything to make Christian McCaffrey healthy as possible this season. And it came at the expense of everyone else on their team. Unfortunately, the MetLife turf takes another one. Rookie Michael Williams tears his ACL. He's obviously out for the season. Just not injury after injury after injury for this Niners team. It is... It is really unfortunate, but Mac Jones has been playing well. Mac Jones is playing well. I think Cameron texted me that Brandon Ayuk, they opened up his practice window, so that's a positive. Again, if the offense can get healthy and then all of a sudden they get these really good weapons back and the offense kind of takes another step, the offense already has been good. Christian McCaffrey is their offense right now, and that's good enough most of the time. But if the offense can take another jump where, like, they can be the reason that they win games and not, like, again, some balanced thing where... Because Robert Saleh has the defense playing well. Despite all of the injuries they have, that defense is playing well. That defense is playing solid. The Niners are a good team. Kyle Shanahan deserves a lot of credit. It's the same stuff I kind of say every week. Giants on the other side. Again, Jackson Dart doing his thing. Trying his hardest out there. Trying my hardest. Yeah, sure. Jackson Dart is, again, pretty good. I still don't really know what to make of it yet, but Jackson Dart has definitely proven me wrong, and my evaluation on him is, again, jury's still out, lots of time. He's very early into his career. I could still be right, but obviously Dart has looked like a very good quarterback. Very good might be a stretch. It is what it is. I don't know. There's not really, a lot I can say about the Giants. It's just, actually something I can say about the Giants. Brian Daboll, now in his 4th season as the Giants head coach. I think that sounds right. First season started off 7-2. The last 3 seasons, 2-7 every single year. Where it's basically like the Giants have been eliminated from playoffs every single year before Halloween. I still believe in Brian Daboll. I don't think that the issues are his fault. I don't think Joe Shane has built a good roster, obviously, but obviously some kinks to work out there. Brian Burns is having a hell of a year, league-leading 11th sack right now. Shout out to Brian Burns. The pass rush is trying to do their part anyways. We'll keep going, though. Colts at Steelers. Colts 20, Steelers 27. Literally, last week, we're doing my mid-season awards, mid-season superlatives, and I don't know how many times I picked someone on the Colts or someone doing something. I mean, it was Colts, breakout team, most surprising team, Tyler Warren, Rookie of the Year, Jonathan Taylor, MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, their coach's name, Shane Steichen, Coach of the Year, Colts, everything, and then, right on cue, Daniel Jones turns into a pumpkin. Absolutely terrible game from Daniel Jones. I think 5 turnovers for him on the day, 3 interceptions, 2 lost fumbles, 3 fumbles in total. Not good. Very, very, very not good for the Colts. I think that my one silver lining for the Colts can be in this game. You still scored 20 points. You turned the ball over 6 times and you still managed to score 20 points. That's pretty impressive. Even if they just turned the ball over 3 times in this game, that probably means that they would have won and they would have scored 30 plus. I'm just saying, obviously, terrible week for the Colts in general, and again, welcome back, Daniel Jones, we've missed you. But 20 points off 6 turnovers? Not horrendous. I guess I'm being positive for the Colts here. And now they get some reinforcements with Sauce Gardner, but that's for next episode. Steelers on the other side. Again, I just talked about the Colts, and oh my god, they're so great, and then they fell off a cliff. Kind of did the same thing with the Steelers, where, actually, I'll take that back. I was bang on what I said about this Steelers defense, where yeah, they have a bunch of old dudes, and these old dudes don't produce in the same way as they do anymore. But when they do, this is what the Steelers defense could look like. We got vintage TJ Watt. He put Bernhard Raimann in an absolute cell, and Raimann's a very good right tackle in this league. But Watt was doing whatever. Peyton Wilson had a great game on defense as well in that linebacker spot. The Steelers defense absolutely won them this game, and Aaron Rodgers, Dinkin' Duncan. It's so funny, and again, it's working for Rodgers. He does not have to make these big splashy throws like he did for the first 2 decades of his career. He can just sit there now and just take the easy check down. And I think that that's unfortunately just how the Steelers offense needs to be run, because they have 1 real wide receiver in DK Metcalf, and they have 3 good tight ends with Jonnu Smith, Pat Freiermuth, and Darnell Washington. It's a weird offense, but I'm pretty sure Rodgers averaged 2.9 average depth of target. That's insanely low. Every time he threw the ball, it was going less than 3 yards down the field on average. That's the offense. Again, it worked. The Steelers' defense came alive, and again, they can have games like this. Do I expect them to do this next week? Absolutely not. But the Steelers' defense is capable of this, but they need to force turnovers in order to win games, and they just haven't. They did in this one, so that's great. But again, the Steelers are the Steelers are the Steelers are the Steelers. Nothing changes anyways. We can keep... Oh, okay. Sorry. I was weird. Okay, doesn't matter. Panthers at Packers. Panthers 16, Packers 13. Listen, I don't really have a lot to say about on the Panthers side of the ball. Bryce Young did absolutely nothing except hand the ball off to Rico Dowdle, and Rico Dowdle has been one of the biggest surprises in the league this year. I mean, since Chuba got injured and since Rico's taken over the backfield, I'll just read off his game log here. So he had that 206-yard performance versus Miami, follow that up with 183, and then Chuba comes back, and he still has 79 and then 54, and then they're like, okay, no, you've been the better back, Dowdle, we'll give you the ball, and then he puts up another 130 yards, 2 TDs. Yeah, Rico Dowdle, if there was a breakout player of the year, I think Rico Dowdle absolutely deserves to be in that conversation. The Panthers defense, though, played really well. I do. I give them a ton of credit. Derek Brown kind of locking down that interior, locking down that Packers run game. Trayvon Morg and Trevin Wallace made a bunch of big plays in this one. J.C. Horn, again, continues to play really good ball. Nick Scordon's playing good ball. Panthers defense maybe has some life in them. Again, the Panthers have been frisky anyways. I'm not going to put them in the good category anyways, but they've been frisky. I think they're a tough team to beat, but still a beatable team, but shout out to them. Packers. I don't know. Does anyone know? Does anyone know if the Packers are actually good, if they're frauds, if they're... Again, I don't really know. And why should I know? Because every week I believe in them, they let me down. And every time I'm like, I don't know about the Packers. It's, oh my God, they're the best. And this was just kind of another one of those performances. I don't know. They were running the ball really well and just kind of didn't run the ball enough. I don't know why Emmanuel Wilson is getting any touches whatsoever. I think Josh Jacobs is banged up a little bit, so I will kind of push back on myself there. Jordan Love, again, I don't understand Jordan Love most of the time. Sometimes I think he's a top 10 quarterback. Sometimes I think he's closer to 20. Yeah, the Packers confuse me. And unfortunately for them, their best weapon or best receiving weapon on offense, Tucker Kraft, tears his ACL out for the year. Terrible. And now this Packers offense that's already kind of depleted in receiving weapons to begin with is even more depleted, I guess. Yeah, the Packers confuse me. I don't really know what to make of them. I will say though, I was talking with one of my instructors today, Will, who's a big Packers fan, and whatever we're talking about them, and again, I asked that question of how do you make sense of the Packers? And he's just like, you don't. You wait till the playoffs. Hopefully they figure it out. But he made the point, and I think I made this point in the summer too. But Favre, Rodgers, Favre and Rodgers were both 27 when they won their first Super Bowls. Jordan Love is in his age 27 season right now. In those first 2 Super Bowls, the Packers traded for Reggie White as their big defensive player. The Rodgers Packers traded for Charles Woodson, and now the Love Packers trade for Micah Parsons. And then Will added a little bonus nugget to this is during that 2010, 2011 playoff run for the Packers, Jermichael Finley, their tight end that year, tore his ACL and was out for the year, and now Tucker Kraft tears his ACL and is out for the year. Time is a flat circle. I still think the Packers can put it together. I like the coaches, I like the defense, I like a lot of the players, but up and down and up and down, and hard to make any sense of them anyways. We'll keep going. Vikings at Lions. Vikings 27, Lions 24. Shout out to Brian Flores for what seemingly feels like the first time as in his tenure as the Vikings DC is he has figured out the Lions offense. Ben Johnson is not there, but all the same players for the most part. That offensive line for the Lions, very, very banged up at the moment. But yeah, the Vikings held their run game in check. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs only had 25 yards rushing. David Montgomery led them with 40 yards rushing, but also had a fumble in this one. The pressure was getting after Jared Goff. Andrew Van Ginkel was back, which I think that is the big reason why this Vikings defense has looked kind of a little lost the last few weeks. Looked like a normal Brian Flores defense does, because Andrew Van Ginkel does not get enough credit for how good of a football player he is. I mean, last year I put him on my Defensive Player of the Year ballot because he did have that great of a season, but what he does for Brian Flores in just one of these tweener roles where, yeah, he can get after the quarterback. He's a very good pass rusher, but he also has that ability to drop back in coverage where when he's on the field, you don't know what the fuck he's doing at any given time. And that's a huge chess piece for a guy like Brian Flores. Yeah, the Vikings defense looked good. Isaiah Rodgers, I mean, they had a big field goal block on special teams. Isaiah Rodgers ran it back to like the 10, I believe. He's having a terrific year. But really, people want to talk about J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy, 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing TD in this game. 14 of 25 for 143 yards. He was not good for most of that game. Again, the few splash plays, and it made it count when it mattered, but the offense did not look good. There was a lot of miscues and on runs. Aaron Jones going one way, McCarthy going another way, and people are like, oh, you got to blame. And it's like, the offense didn't look like that when Carson Wentz was there. That's all I know. Again, Carson Wentz isn't a good quarterback, but like, the right things were being done on offense, and I think that was very evident in this game. Again, J.J. McCarthy, that was only his 3rd start of his career. Lots of time left to develop, but I don't see it. Like, with Jackson Dart still confuses me, but I can see the clear talent there, where J.J. McCarthy, I don't know, he was throwing behind guys a lot of the time. It just, he looks fine. He looks okay. He doesn't look great. And this Vikings team that should have had like playoff aspirations might miss the playoffs entirely because of their quarterback play. Again, whole half of the season for J.J. McCarthy to show us who he is, but again, not really feeling it at this point. I don't think I really have to say much about the Lions. It was just kind of not their game, not their day. A few too many costly turnovers. Again, that offensive line looked rough versus the Vikings pass rush. And I will say one thing about Jared Goff and one kind of thing about how these game managing type quarterbacks, it's like, again, if you can get pressure on them, if you can rattle them, it throws a lot off. And like, that's talking about guys like Goff, like Purdy, like Bo Nix, like those types of guys where you rattle them a little bit, you get them out of their zone, it makes it much easier to win a game. And as good as Jared Goff is, if you can rattle him, if you can get him off his game, we've seen time after time that his play decreases anyways. We'll keep going. Chargers 27, Titans 20. You're probably looking at that score and being like, holy shit, the Titans, they actually played pretty well. Nope. Shout out to Chimere Dike scoring a punt return TD. And I don't know who had the pick 6 on Justin Herbert, but shout out to him as well. That is 14 of the Titans' points there. Yeah, and then they kicked 2 field goals. Titans are absolutely terrible. They continue to be terrible. They can't do anything on offense. Their defense is also bad. Not really a ton to say about the Titans. I do have one funny stat though that I should read about the Titans. If I can find it quickly. It is, where is it? God damn it, where is it? There it is. Most consecutive games with fewer touchdowns than the opponent. So you have the 1975-76 New York Jets with 14. You have the 2025 Titans with 14. Then you have the 1927-29 Dayton Triangles with 17. the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with 18 in 1976, 1977. And then the Chicago Cardinals have 19 in 1942, 1945. That's some elite company. When you can be put in the same sentence as the Dayton Triangles, you know you're doing something right anyways. Oh, I didn't read the disclaimer on this. So the Dayton Triangles have like a big like red like thing. Streak ended with the franchise folding in 1929, I guess. So, hey, Titans, maybe you're 3 games away from your franchise folding if you're that bad. Chargers on the other side. Joe Alt out for the year. And that's kind of it with the Chargers, in my opinion. Like, is what it is. We saw what that offensive line looked like without Joe Alt. It was Swiss cheese. And yeah, Justin Herbert is going to continue to get pressured a fuck ton of times. Again, the passing offense looks good because of all of the guys that they have out there, but Herbert is just not going to have the time in the pocket at all anymore to... Oh, sorry. I should have brought water in with me. But yeah, Herbert's not going to have the time to do anything anymore. And the defense is fine. Like, the defense is still not great. I'm not a fan of that secondary. Odafe Owa, though, has been a big addition. I think that this is one of those rare, like, win-win on both sides. The Ravens secondary has looked much improved with the addition of Alohi Gilman. And yeah, the Chargers pass rush looks better too. Owe, since getting traded to... Yeah, he was on the Chargers on, yeah. So since getting traded to the Chargers, he has played 4 games and he has 4 sacks. So good for Owe, win-win there. But again, no Joe Alt now for the Chargers. I just think that that's kind of it. They still might sneak into the playoffs, but it doesn't matter from here on out. This offense is just not good enough. However, I will say, Justin Herbert's still playing very good football. And if the Chargers do make it into the playoffs, hey, maybe a sneaky division win, Justin Herbert will have to carry this team going forward. And maybe an MVP is still in consideration if Justin Herbert is doing all of the heavy lifting. Again, lots of good candidates out there right now, but I think that this weirdly puts a bigger target on Justin Herbert's back to win MVP if he does end up carrying them. Again, we will see. Next game up here, Falcons at Patriots. Falcons 23, Patriots 24. Yeah, not a great game from the Patriots, but a good enough game anyways. Drake May, the worst game of the season so far, 19-29, 259 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and interception. Also had 20 yards rushing. That's the worst game of his season so far. I hate it. Shout out to rookie Terrell Jennings getting his first touchdown of his career. Clearly, Mike Vrabel has a bit of a vendetta against Travion Henderson. I don't really get it. Pop Douglas, 4 catches, 100 yards, and a TD. The Patriots did exactly what they needed to do in this one. Again, they did not have a great game, sloppy in some moments, but they win when it matters because the Falcons are the Falcons, and they just shoot themselves in the foot. John Parker Romo, the kicker that they signed after releasing Younghoe Koo, has now been cut. Because, yeah, he was also bad. That game where they were doing the auditions like a month ago, where it was like, oh, John Parker Romo was getting the start while Younghoe Koo's on the sideline, and I saw him nearly shank, like 2 40-yard kicks. They made it in, and he was 5 for 5 on that game. But no, that was clearly the wrong call. Not good. Drake London, very good game in this one. 9 catches, 118 yards, 3 TDs. I will add, he really started to go off once Christian Gonzalez got injured. And how did Gonzo get how did Gonzo get injured, you may ask? And yeah, it might have been Drake London mossing him and then proceeding to like body slam him into the ground just after making the catch. Is what it is. But before that moment, that was kind of London's only real big play on Gonzo. His first 2 touchdowns For some reason, Gonzalez was not covering the best receiver that the Falcons have. Not my problem. Drake London, freaking awesome. Bijan, another like pedestrian game for him. Michael Penix is not good. The Falcons defense, though. The Falcons defense did play very well. They've kind of been up and down so far this season. They are really young. Jalen Walker kind of had his big breakout game. 2 sacks on the day for him. Couple big plays. Did he have the forced fumble? Yeah, one was the forced fumble picked up by other rookie James Pierce Jr. James Pierce Jr. totally thought he had that TD too. Like, he looked like he was about to start showboating, and then in comes Will Campbell to make that tackle on him. He thought he was gone. He was not gone. Will Campbell made the tackle. They sacked Drake May 6 times in this one. Brandon Dorless, a 3rd-round pick from last year, added 2 sacks in this one. Again, the defense has some guys. They're just young. Someone will emerge. But yeah, the Patriots kind of squeak away with this one, but they needed it. Here's a crazy game. Bears 47, Bengals 42. The ending of this game, it's absolutely nuts. I think that I'm trying to remember, because unfortunately I thought this game was over, and I'm like, I'll go take my dog for a walk. This is the perfect time. And then I come back and the Bengals are somehow winning. So I think it was the Bears were up by 2 scores. And then the Bengals get the ball, and that's when I went outside to take my dog for a walk. And then what happened in that time was the Bengals went down the field, scored a touchdown, and then they did an onside kick, and they got the onside kick, and then they scored a touchdown again. And then with like under a minute left in the game, Caleb Williams gets the ball, makes a couple plays, and then that next play, throw to Colston Loveland. Colston Loveland, big game in this one too. And throw to Colston Loveland, he makes the catch. And just, I don't know what the tackling was on that play by Jordan Battle. Very, very bad. And then Loveland takes it to the house. Touchdown, game over. That's that. Bengals offensive players after the game clearly very frustrated about what the defense is doing. Like, again, make one stop. They literally could not make one stop. The Bengals D is absolutely atrocious. And the Bengals become... where did it go? This is bad podcasting, and I apologize. The Bengals are the first team since the 1960s to score 38-plus points in back-to-back games and lose both games. It's terrible. And again, the offense has looked much, much better with Joe Flacco. Again, the plan is just throw Jamar Chase the ball, throw T. Higgins the ball. It's a good game plan. They're scoring a lot of points, but that defense is so bad. And Ben Johnson put them in an absolute blender in this game. Like, he had, I want to say, how many people threw the ball in this game for the Bears? 4 different people threw passes for the Bears in this one. Caleb Williams had a receiving touchdown. Actually, take that back. Caleb Williams had multiple receptions in this game. That's... my apologies for the coughing. Yeah, Caleb Williams had multiple catches in this game. Like, Ben Johnson was in his bag pulling out whatever because he could run whatever he wanted against the Bengals. It was that bad. Couple rookie breakout games, though, for the Bears in this one. I mentioned it a little bit, but Colston Loveland, 6 catches, 118 yards, 2 TDs in this one. His big breakout performance, and I'm happy for him, because all I've been hearing for the first 2 months of the season is, the Bears are idiots. How could they not pick Tyler Warren? Tyler Warren is so much better than Colston Loveland. Colston Loveland's a bust. Let's chill. We're halfway through his rookie season. And yeah, there's a lot of mouths to feed on the Bears offense. And yeah, maybe you need to get adjusted a little bit, but now it looks like Colston Loveland's going to be a mainstay for that Bears offense. He looked really damn good. Give rookies a little bit of time to adjust. It is much harder to play in the NFL than it is college. Give some guys some time. Colston Loveland, Tyler Warren looking like they're going to both have great NFL careers. Other Bears rookie I want to give a shout out to is 7th round rookie running back Kyle Monangai. 26 carries, 176 yards. Also added 3 catches for 22 yards. DeAndre Swift better watch out because I think Kyle Monangai is here to stay. Again, I just don't think DeAndre Swift is like home run or bust. Like, if I'm to compare him like a baseball player, and I can't name a baseball player off the top of my head, but it's the guy with like the Chris Davis. Remember that guy who played for the Baltimore Orioles who struck out a bunch, but hey, that one season he hit like 50 homers? That's DeAndre Swift. He can hit those home runs. He can hit the long plays, but most of the time, he's getting hit at or behind the line of scrimmage. And I think that's a good comparison. DeAndre Swift, Chris Davis. I don't know. Sounds good to me anyways. But yeah, Kyle Monangai. Great, not debut obviously, but good game for him. Good game for Caleb Williams. The NFC North is basically everyone is tied right now. That is going to be an absolute shit show to try to figure that out. We'll keep going here. Jags at Raiders. Jags 30, Raiders 29. This game went to overtime. Literally, the entire overtime session as well. I found out that the NFL regular season adopted like the new overtime playoff rule where like, oh, both teams have a chance to score even regardless of a touchdown. Because I watched the Jags walk down that field, score a touchdown, and I was like, yes, Jags minus 2.5, that hits. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait, why did the Raiders get a chance to the ball? And then, luckily for me, did I have Jags money line? Yes, I had Jags money line. So my bet didn't get voided anyways, so that's nice. Yeah, the Jags looked like how the Jags normally do. Bunch of little mistakes. I mean, that Trevor Lawrence interception at like the goal line, I don't know what he was thinking there to not need to force that throw. That run game that looked pretty effective and good at the start of the year, not that good and effective this year. Brian Thomas Jr. rolls his ankle, so he's banged up now. Parker Washington, though, played well without Travis Hunter in there. Now they add in Jacoby Myers. Maybe that adds a little bit to this offense. Trayvon Walker got kicked out for punching a guy in the face mask. I don't know why people punch each other in the face mask. But enough was done by the Jags to win this game, and it was probably a lot harder than it should have been. But the Raiders got the added bonus of having Brock Bowers back in this game. And yeah, Brock Bowers reminded everyone that, yeah, he's the best tight end in this league. He is a star weapon, a star player. 12 catches, 127 yards, 3 touchdowns in this one for Brock Bowers. And yeah, all of a sudden, though, the Raiders actually, like, the offense looks pretty good. Geno Smith, 29 of 39, 284 yards, 4 passing touchdowns, and an interception. GT, 42 yards on the ground, but also added 5 catches, 47 yards, and a TD. Again, things are looking better for the Raiders. No Jacoby Myers now, but now, hey, just keep feeding that ball to Brock Bowers. Keep running those 2 tight end sets with him and Mayer, and maybe this is getting... Now that Myers is gone, maybe you get Jack Besh more involved or Deontay Thornton. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out. But at least the Raiders' offense looked fun-ish anyways. I guess that's like the best thing I can say about them. Anything else? Oh, shout out to Raheem Mostert. He had a couple like big kick returns in this one that were like key on special teams for them. And speaking of special teams... Jaguars kicker Cam Little breaks the NFL record for longest kick ever. He broke it in the preseason with 70 yards, but that didn't count, so now he breaks it with a 68-yard kick. Fantastic for many reasons. Obviously, getting an NFL record is... No one can... Well, I will say that no one can ever take that away from you, but people literally can take that away from you. Like, that is like the one thing that they can do with NFL records is... take things away, but I'm happy that Cam Little took the record away from the Nasty Man 2.0 and Justin Tucker, and every time we can erase him from the history books, it's a positive. So, shout out to Cam Little. That kick would have been good from 70, though. I can definitely see that. We'll keep going. Saints at Rams. Saints 10, Rams 34. An absolute whooping. This game was basically over before it started. Was a quick... It wasn't even like that bad, but like it was still bad. I mean, Devontae Adams scoring, Puka Nacua scoring, everyone's scoring. The Rams are really good. I really don't know what else I can really say. The Rams offense is clicking, it's humming. The Rams defense is looking much better. Everything is going up with the Rams, and I don't know. The Rams are really good. I don't think I have to say a ton more than that. The Rams are really good. Saints on the other side. Tyler Shuck making his debut, and it went as well as I could have expected. 15 of 24, 176 yards, a passing TD, and an interception. And that passing touchdown goes to former Oregon teammate Juwan Johnson, who they last played together in 2019. Yep, the 2025 rookie Tyler Shuck played with Juwan Johnson in 2019. I don't think I'll ever get over the fact that Tyler Shuck is a rookie and that old. It is what it is. It's a funny story, but yeah, Tyler Shuck I don't think adds anything else that Spencer Rattler didn't. The only time that I saw the Saints offense move the football is when Taysom Hill was the one out there moving the football. Shout out to Taysom Hill for, continuing to do whatever Taysom Hill wants to do. And now this offense trades away Rashid Shaheed. So this offense is going to be even worse going forward. The Saints are terrible. We'll keep going here. Chiefs at Bills. Bills 28, Chiefs 21. Big confidence booster for the Bills here, and mainly for this Bills defense. The defense looked good. It was stopping the run. Michael Hoyt and the pass rush was getting in the backfield. Unfortunately, now Michael Hoyt's torn his Achilles, and he's out for the rest of the year. So that's unfortunate. They do get Maxwell Harrison back, though, making his debut, their first-round rookie corner. And yeah, he ran the fastest 40 at the Combine this year, and he was staying stride for stride with the fastest 40 time ever was Xavier Worthy. Cole Bishop had a big game too. If all of a sudden this Bills defense, and I know another team that I was shit-talking last week, I literally clipped out a thing where I think the Bills are going to get their, the floor wiped with them, and they're overrated and all that stuff, where let's still have some thoughts. Again, the Chiefs had a chance to come back and tie this game with 20 seconds left, and the fact that the Chiefs were even had the opportunity to squeak in a tie, get this game to overtime, that should have never happened. The Chiefs looked completely out of this game the entire time, but the fact the score says that they weren't, that should give you pause for concern just a little bit. But again, the Bills secondary looks strong. When Cole Bishop's playing that well, if Maxwell Harrison can continue to play that well, they still have Taron Johnston. They still have that other guy who's also good, who I'm just forgetting his name off the top of my head, and I will look it up very quickly if I can see his name. Christian Benford, also very good. But if you have those three guys, if Cole Bishop is kind of taking a step up in his game post-bye, I don't know, maybe I still don't have a lot of hope. Let's be real. The offense looked good. Josh Allen. Oh yeah, I didn't write this down, but Josh Allen has passed Earl Campbell all time in the career rushing touchdowns list. That makes no sense to me. Earl Campbell, one of the best running backs of all time, Josh Allen has more rushing touchdowns than him. And listen, the way Josh Allen's career is going, it would not shock me if by the end of it, he adds another 25 rushing TDs to that mark, bringing him up to 100, and him passing Barry Sanders for 9th all-time on the rushing TDs list. It's insane, and I know people want to do it. It's the same thing they do with Jalen. So it's it's always QB sneaks and short runs, and it's well, it is what it is. Whatever, they're getting the points, and Jalen Hurts is also going to be passing a lot of these all-time great running backs and rushing TDs too, but I don't know. I definitely think that Josh Allen, by the end of his career, can definitely get 100 rushing TDs. And if he can be ahead of Barry Sanders in all-time rushing yards while also being insanely high on all of the quarterback charts, that's just a crazy thing to even think of. I mean, I don't know, 20 years ago, if you told a guy that, I have a quarterback who career has passed for, 52,000 yards, and he has 280 passing TDs, and he also has more rushing TDs than Barry Sanders, you're like, oh my god, that's the best quarterback of all time. And obviously Josh Allen isn't the best quarterback of all time, but athletically, traits-wise, he's definitely up there anyways. Either way, really, really impressive. Talked about the Bills too much, though. Chiefs on the other side, again, they just looked dysfunctional. They did not look like they were in this game whatever. Pat Mahomes had his worst game in a long time. 15 of 34 for 250 yards, 1 interception. And it didn't look terrible. It clearly looked bad, but it wasn't all doom and gloom, at least in my opinion. It just nothing was clicking for them. Nothing was going right. Nothing was... and fortunately for them, Josh Simmons is back at the facility after dealing with some family matters. So they get their stud left tackle back, and that's a big help. Yeah, getting their left tackle back. I think that they're also... who else was injured in this one? I think other people were injured in this one too. But anyways, I think they're missing Trey Smith or something like that. Is that something I can quickly find here? Who's on bye? The Chiefs are on bye. Do we get an injury report for them still? No, we don't, and I can just keep moving on. But they got Josh Simmons back. That offensive line will be better, healthy. Josh Allen, 5-1 against Pat Mahomes, all time in the regular season. And we also know how that goes in the playoffs. So, wouldn't look too far into it, Bills fans. But again, a win is a win. Feels nice. And finally, final game up here, a real shit-kicking. Seahawks 38, Commanders 14. This game was also over basically as soon as it started. It was a quick 31-7 at halftime game. The Seahawks defenders were waving to the Commanders crowd, telling them, bye-bye, you can go home. And when the Commanders fans were like, there's still 3 quarters left to play, nah. Nope, no there isn't, go home. And they were absolutely right. The Seahawks did literally whatever they wanted to. Jackson Smith-Njigba continues to just be a stud. 8 catches, 129 yards. Torrey Horton, 4 catches, 48 yards and 2 TDs. Rookie Elijah Arroyo got a TD in this one. Sam Darnold just slinging the ball, 21 of 24 for 330 yards and 4 touchdowns. The offense is clicking. The offense is looking good. And now they add in Rashid Shaheed, who... we saw what he did the first month of the season with Clint Kubiak before Derek Carr got hurt. And now he's in this offense. And now it's a better offense, much better offense than what the Saints were dealing with last year. I would be excited. I would be very excited to see what Shaheed could do for this team. The defense also fantastic. Again, it's hard to stop, hard to bring down Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels rushed a lot in this game, and it was all for naught, unfortunately. But that Seahawks defense got after them. Seahawks defense is really good. But yeah, Jaden Daniels, unfortunately, on a scramble, comes down awkwardly on that left arm, dislocates his elbow, out for the rest of the year. Yeah, again, you talk about the injuries and the stuff with Jaden Daniels. It's not good. He's clearly a very talented, good player, but... God, injuries are so goddamn tough, and you hate to see that. Marcus Mariota the rest of the way now. Marshawn Lattimore, I think, tore his ACL. The downfall of this Commanders team was really, they did it to themselves. They draft Jaden Daniels at 2nd overall, and all of a sudden, his rookie year, they make the NFC Championship game, and all of a sudden, they think that roster that was just bad enough to pick 2nd overall is now good enough to contend, good enough to compete, and they give away draft picks, and... now, I think going into this year's draft, they have 6 draft picks in total. It's not good. Not good whatsoever. They have a lot of retooling to do. They didn't make any moves at the deadline either. I mean, who would they fucking give away anyways? I saw a rumor. It's Von Miller back to the Bills. Why would the Bills want to do that? They willingly cut Von Miller anyways. Yeah, not a lot of good I can say. It's tough sledding ahead for Commanders fans anyways. Seahawks are great. That does it for this episode. Bit of a longer one here. Kept it under an hour though. Yeah, I don't know. I got my big field skills assessment tomorrow where I got to go to the Kingsclear woodlot and find myself 5 trees. I got 3 hours to do it. I think that'll be a lot of fun. Yeah. I don't know. No real big updates anyways, other than my facial hair is gone. I get to sleep in a little tomorrow. That'll be nice. I don't know. I guess I'll just end it here. As always, if you have liked this, please like, share, retweet, subscribe, tell your friends, all that fun stuff. And until next time, peace.